We're here.
Live with Hops Metal Show.
Well,
So
anybody want to come? Anybody come in, Wes? What we got going on?
I don't see anything yet. We're here. We're broadcasting live to the Facebook and the YouTube channels. So as people pop in, if you want to do comments, say where you're at, ask any questions. Initially, this was scheduled to be a live interview
Yeah.
with a band called Locust Grove. And Tom George, who connected us with Ken Dubman, and connected us with Blacktop Mojo, and so on. It's a band he represents, and he promoted them. He kind of introduced us with the idea of they were, if you liked Pantera, if you liked Black Label Society, and the music is heavy. It's good,
Yeah,
cool
right.
music. They sound tight. That said, they're not going to be with us today. We're looking at getting this rescheduled for 2 weeks out for June 5th. We'll let you know. We'll post something just as soon as we get that confirmed. They had something come up in their calendar. So anyway, me and Hopper here. And since that's something that was related to Black Label Society as one of the bands that they were similar to, Hop, you saw Black Label last night. So talk about that.
All right. Well, we went to Shiley Acres, and y'all gonna have a special video coming. We did a this or that. Went over extremely well, but Wes knows. He knows Zach always brings it, but I will say last night Zach blew the roof off that joint. Me and String talked about it going home. That we've probably seen him a dozen times, and that's probably the best I've ever seen him. And I know you had said something about him being sick, Wes.
Yeah, I saw a post, a link to where he had to reschedule several shows in the last few weeks, just because of some vocal issues, something going on. And I'm glad you all get to see him. And I was kind of concerned of, gosh, what's going to happen? Because um, Zach's a stinking professional. I mean, he
Yeah,
brings it every single time. That's what he does. So I'm glad to
does it
hear
well.
so much.
But yeah, and he even did In This River, which I thought was cool. He usually does it. Last time I seen it was just for Dimebag, but he had like a big picture of Dimebag on the stage and a big picture of Vinnie Paul, and just paying homage to the Abbott brothers, what they meant to him, what they meant to the music world. It was just, you couldn't ask for a better show. He just brought the house down.
Cool. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the video you posted. Gosh, I'm not even remembering the song. He was playing all piano and he had
Yeah,
the other guy play lead. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, they played a solo, West, that was unfreaking real. They were playing like him and the new guy he's got playing guitar. They're playing behind their backs, over their heads, like dueling solos. And it's just like, golly, two people are doing this, and that's unreal.
I remember the first time I saw Zach, I think we saw him at Main Street in 2000, and he did the little thing with his mouth solo. And usually you see that and it gets kind of weird. But my goodness, that dude plays, he's just on it with everything he does. There's no, that's the, he's fast, but he's precise in everything. I don't get it, but rock on.
Well, even even when he played the piano on Board the Tears, or In This River, he makes the piano a cool instrument. I know that's just Zach.
Yep.
And he wears a kilt, and he pulls that off too. So it's kind of like he's just Zach.
Yeah. So the lyrics, that was the piece that I noticed, because when you take a video on a cell phone at a show, it's never quite like being there. I mean, the ones, and I've got those queued up if you want to play them, from Blacktop Mojo a week ago. I didn't pull up the Buck Cherry because I don't like them much, and that's okay. I'm saying that on your channel. If that little skinny fella wants to take issue with it, come get some. That's okay. But the fact of the matter is, you got two really good videos. One's the Zeppelin cover. One is the Burn the Ships song of theirs. So I've got those pulled up, but it's never quite as good on the video. But it sounded really stinking good, and Zach did in the video you shot last night.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and that was the thing, jumping to, you was talking about Blacktop Mojo. I remember telling you, I could not believe how good Matt sounded live. I might have even said this before, but it was like the first line that came out of his mouth. I'm like, this is going to be a good show. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I shared that with somebody from the first vocals that he did. But I also remember when they played the song "The Void," and I've liked that song. It's second to last on their third album, but there's a dueling guitar solo in that. And I remember turning around to you in the steps, and you said, "That's some Leonard Skinner shit right there." Just
Yeah.
awesome.
And yeah, and it's like that shit tears me up, man, to watch two guys play lead together. I mean, it's not a
Yep.
very common thing, but man, when you did it, it's like music to the ears to me.
Yep. Yeah, I listened to that, and gosh, Chuck, if you're watching, we got to talk to Chuck. Does a lot of their leads now. After the show, actually, that was more entertaining than listening to Buck Cherry for me. But if you're watching, I thought his leads were as good, if not better, live than some of the stuff that I'm hearing him play lead on their albums, and that's a pretty tall order to play it
Oh
live as good as you do in the studio, because we know Rat don't.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they did some point in time, but yeah, I don't know what
Improved by me.
they're a heritage act that's just sometimes you think they might just hang it up. I don't know.
Yeah, it was better to remember him in the '80s, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, well,
But
so one of the things that I'll announce right now, Hop, is as we just right before we went live, we confirmed that Austin Doherty, who kind of runs everything for Blacktop Mojo, he handles all their VIP stuff, he does all their merch tables, and a lot of pretty neat stuff. We've got a really cool behind the scenes live interview scheduled with him 2 weeks from today, 4 p.m. Eastern time, where we're going to chat with Austin, and he kind of oversees all their touring, and he travels with them, and it's just going to be a neat shot. He's not, he might be a musician, I'm not sure, but he's a rock star in his own right, in that he makes all the
yeah,
stuff function.
and it's like if you're a music nerd, that's what I've always said. You know, it'd be kind of cool to see the behind the scenes. And we've met the guy. Me and Wes talked to the guy, super nice guy,
Hmm.
and it'd be kind of cool to see the behind the scenes on like what Wes said, merchandising and the VIPs and just an average day in the life of a tour manager.
Hmm. And best I can tell, he does a lot of their social media stuff. He, like I say, does the correspondence with the VIPs, and just a good dude. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited that we get to chat with him. So Hop, one of the things I wasn't sure about, I didn't think I don't know that I've ever watched their Wicked Woman video on a PC on a big screen. I've always had it. The only times I've ever seen it's been on my phone on YouTube, so it's kind of tiny. So I asked him in the exchange earlier leading up, hey, was that you in that video? So if people haven't seen it, are you okay with if I play the clip?
yeah, that's cool.
And it has Kat in it. So if you guys, if you're watching this, seeing this with us right now, you saw us talk with Kat, what, a month or so ago,
Yeah,
here, and just a cool dude. So Kat's in the video, you'll see that, but it's their bus driver, Austin said, who's in this video. But this is stinking hilarious. So I'll see if
yeah,
I can
it
get it.
kind of shows the cat that that we met in person too.
Yep. Yeah, and he was quick to, when you gave him the Hops Metal Show shirt, he was making sure that got a plug in the picture and so on. Just a neat guy.
Yeah, he's a real
So
good guy, real
Vic,
good.
you go ahead and chat for a second. I'll try to figure out, make sure I can play this thing and not monkey anything up and kick us off or get us locked up in like Facebook jail or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't want there. But yeah, if y'all haven't watched their version of Whole Lot of Love, you should go check it out on our channel. They
Yeah,
do a
I've
version.
got that queued up as well. So let me play this, and then we'll switch over to a little bit of Whole Lot of Love. We'll watch just a couple seconds of this funny video.
All right,
I've
sounds
got to
good.
mute myself so I don't give everybody a whole mess to listen to.
Hey, sir, can I help you?
Do you have any weapons of any kind? Anything to defend yourself?
Sir, this is a Speedy Mart. We have hot dogs 2 for $1. I just put them on the roller yesterday. They're pretty good.
No, man, like something sharp, something like I can stab, defend myself with.
I've got some sharp cheddar combos over there. It's kind of like a Ritz cracker pregnant with a cheese, baby.
All right. Well, let me just take one of these lighters and I'm going to borrow your bug spray. And can I borrow your bathroom key as well?
Yeah, bathroom key. All right. Get your bathroom key right there. Make sure you bring that back. And that'll be 1362. And I'm gonna have to have exact change, sir. We're in a coin shortage at the moment.
Whatever, man. Okay. Is that? No, I'm sorry.
A mother in the sky, take this sacrifice. I wanna live forever. And now, a spirit in the earth, give me all of us, make me a god like you.
Oh shit, Chuck.
Oh, wow. So I wanted to play through the whole shit Chuck part because that's just hilarious.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. But yeah, I like that video. I like that song. I think that's a really good song.
So the song is just stellar. But to have it mixed, so at the beginning of it, they're sitting around the campfire and they're telling the ghost stories. I think it was Ryan who used to be with them said something about, and we're all dumber because we sat here and listened to that story. But what I noticed is part of the story that he's telling around the campfires, Matt James does it, is the lyrics to the actual song.
So that's pretty cool.
And I didn't pick that up before.
I
So
didn't pick that up either.
so yeah, and Kat's just going, what's that got to do with anything? You know, the sharp cheddar combos. It's kind of like a Ritz cracker pregnant with a cheese baby. Well done, guys. So Kat, Matt, Chuck, if you're seeing it, well done.
Yeah.
What a funny video. And
Yeah.
Austin, we're counting on hearing some of the behind the scenes because he told me he was there for all the shooting of the video. And,
so that'll make for some good stories.
yeah, good Lord, what a funny one. So,
and that's another thing that's gonna be cool about interviewing him is we'll hear all that behind the scenes stuff that the normal person, because it's hard to tell what they see.
And at the end of the day, I mean, watching their schedule and seeing their engagement, gosh, and it gives us that glimpse. They're working just like you and Stringer working. You've got your schedules where it's every other weekend. They've got their schedules. Cindy and I do our thing. It's their job, and whether it looks glamorous, I'll bet you some days it's a pain in the butt. But
there's no doubt about it. I want to tell you this story. I'd heard it the other day, and because I'll probably forget next time. But you're talking about, how it can get confusing and stuff like that. Well, I heard an interview with Blackie Lawless, and he was saying the show they had done a show with it was Metallica, Armored Saint, and Wasp. And I guess Wasp was headlining because they were, Metallica was just coming on the scene. And the place they had played at, Blackie said they were late, and they got talking about the Spinal Tap movie. The Spinal Tap movie is being talked, and Blackie was kind of saying this was my Spinal Tap moment. And he said he was in the dressing room shaving, and he said he had shaving cream all over his face. And he said he could hear the Metallica music playing upstairs, like they were getting ready to go on. And he said all of a sudden the door busts open, and there stands Cliff Burton. And he's like, "Hey, Blackie, where the fuck is the stage?" And he's like, "Man, I have no idea." He's like, "Well, fuck you then." And he said, about a minute later went by, and then he finally heard Cliff's bass up on stage. So he's like, I guess he must have finally found the stage.
Oh, wow.
But it's always cool to hear. And see, that's something that Austin would probably bring. A story like that we would never hear.
Well, and realistically, they're in a different spot every single night. And gosh, who knows? They're in their case, when we saw Blacktop Mojo, the Sumo Psycho or Psycho Sumo or whatever, they good band, a little heavier than my tastes, but good band. They played the drum kit that Nathan Gillis plays for Blacktop Mojo. So there's just those little nuances when you're not headlining. And couple that with we're in a different spot and what's the lay of the land and are we getting there on time and just all the craziness that can go on. And then, oh, by the way, they do the VIP that's before the show where they meet and greet people. So, gosh, they're just tuned in. It's
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's probably a lot of winging too. I mean, where you just got to go with it. And I'm sure there's a lot of stories like, Cliff Burton. I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we noticed there. So when we interviewed Kat, you had his album, the newest album that you hadn't opened yet, and it was one of the things you talked with him about.
Yeah.
I said I'm waiting until we see him because I want to get a copy then and there. And they were out. They were sold out. So Austin's like, man, I don't know when we're going to get them again.
Yeah.
And so supply chain's messing with everybody. And I think I heard one of them say that the VIP things, what they do, and since they were only allowed a limited period of time from what they usually do when they headline with Buck Cherry, they cut it in half. Basically, they cut the price so people would still get value for the time with them. But they said, gosh, that basically puts gas in the bus for us.
Well, yeah, especially right now, that's not putting near as much as it was last year at this time.
Oh my gosh. And I could go down that trail if you baited me just a little bit more about politics. But we'll wait to chat with Kenny again on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm sure he'd be all about that.
So I got to follow up. I need to send Tom an email and see, because when we talked to Kenny at that point in time, I'm thinking May 17th was the release date. Now I've traded some emails with Kenny since, and he was looking at 2 EPs rather than a full album. So I'm not sure where that's at, but we need to pay attention to where Kenny Dubman is with releasing those albums, because Hops Metal Showland needs to join in the Kenny Dubman campaign, because he was pretty solid.
If I got my dates right, Wes, when we interview Locust Grove, it'll be the 5th, correct?
Correct. Ideally, yeah, Fred said we could all go down that trail. That's right, Fred. Rock on, brother. Yeah, well, me and you both will get Facebook jailed or something like that if we do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're looking at for Locust Grove for the rescheduled date is effectively an hour after, or maybe back to back with what we do with Austin. It'll be on different links.
I can't let that cat out of the bag beforehand, but
yeah, we're looking at those. So don't know for sure, but that's the goal. And as soon as we hear back from Locust Grove, we'll get that confirmed and up on the channels too.
And I guess where I was going was, what'll be kind of cool is, I think their album drops the 3rd is what the publicist's date was, I think. So, people that are coming on will actually have time to hear some of this music that we'll be talking about. So you'd be able to leave more feedback if that's something you wanted to do.
Yeah. So with that being the schedule date, once we get it confirmed, maybe what we can do is, if there's some of the stuff out there, I think you were telling me that there's just not that much out there on them right now, is maybe you could share some stuff to the channel. So it's a little bit more visibility. People can jump in and have a little bit of familiarity. And gosh, what a cool opportunity to, if that lines up that way, brand new album, to get to do a little bit of live. Like I pulled a couple of Fred's comments up on the screen that we can tee up for the band. So there you go, guys. If you're seeing this, whether it's live or you're catching it later on, there's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, and then y'all can just, ask them the questions, and you'll be able to ask about the songs and get it straight from the horse's mouth.
So, Hopwin, with it just being me and you, do you want me to play some of either the Whole Lot of Love or the Burn the Ships video from that and chat about that a little bit and what you thought the show was like? Or
yeah, let's play. Let's throw up Whole Lot of Love. That if Fred's here, he'll enjoy it.
Yep, here you go. I think I've got it figured out this time.
Yelling going on.
You've been loving. Well, baby, I've been loving. One of those times, baby,
I mean, that's totally spot on.
You need to live.
So I'll say it again. Matt James sings, but I continue to be more impressed with how good Chuck is.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a really good guy too. That's
Yep.
there was no ego for being that good. That's the thing that impresses me is when you don't have that big old ego with you.
Well, and I'm not saying that to even take away from Ron or Malcolm, who is
Yeah.
playing the SG, because what a cool dude, and he amazing job, especially considering he's been with them for less than a year.
Well, but you look at the end of the day, it's like I told him down there, Malcolm, one of the most underrated. I mean, he was the backbone of AC/DC. You know,
Yep.
to carry that name, you got to be pretty good because Malcolm Young was no slouch.
Yeah, and even Nathan. I mean, it was funny because you mentioned it, but we'll say it on here. How he was jabbing at you about your 49ers hat,
Yeah.
even during the picture. So
Yeah.
So we'll be working moving forward to see if we can pull something together with both Chuck and Nathan, because I'm connected with them on Facebook. Had a good chance to chat with both of them. So yeah, who knows what we can.
That might have been the first time I've ever been heckled while I was getting my picture taken with one of the band members.
Yeah.
I've only done that at comedy clubs.
And how fun is it at that point to when you've connected to know, hey, they can heckle us, they can have a good time with their fans.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I'm ready for him next time.
Oh wow. So do you want any of the other one, or do you want to call it good and be done for the day? What you're completely
Yeah, we just go with that. I mean, because then we're gonna have hopefully set up that, where we have two interviews back to back. That ought to be pretty awesome.
Yeah. So Fred, you're right. I mean, one of the things when they're doing the opening act, and I remember noticing it really for the first time a couple of years ago when we saw Tesla Poison and Def Leppard with the opening acts, where they've got all their stuff set up in front of the headliner act. So they were limited in the room. And gosh, all those guys move around a lot on the stage anyway. I saw some clips. They were at Daytona's Rockville or whatever it was called on Friday, and they had a stage 5 times the size of this one. And it was pretty wild to watch the difference and how much more engaging they could be. But yeah, Cat, he runs around like a spider monkey, so it's pretty. He was definitely handcuffed in that little stage. So, well, Hop, appreciate chatting with you a little bit. Hop's Metal Show Land. We will see you in 2 weeks, June 5th, 4 p.m. with Nathan. With Austin Doherty from Blacktop Mojo, runs all their stuff. And as soon as we know about the Locust Grove, we'll get that potentially back to back at 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. So if you can't catch them both, maybe you can snag one. And Hop, closing thoughts.
I guess everybody, thanks for support. Thanks for the participation on this or that. If anybody's out there that's been doing that, and if you want to do that, hopefully we can get to a show and we can nail you down and ask you a bunch of questions, because it seems to be the people that are taking the questions, they're loving it. They're a little nervous at first, but once they see what it is, it's nothing to it. Just good fun.
Yep, it was a blast to watch, and just watching the guys roll with them. So well done, sir. Appreciate getting to hang out with you a little bit, and you guys here live in 2 weeks.
Alrighty, man. All y'all in social YouTube land, peace.
Pop metal.